Hey YouTube, I just wanted to show off this Beetrooper deck. I played at a 40-man local at Endangered Hobbies and drew for first place. That being said, let's get to the profile. So I played 3 Beetrooper Scout Buggy. It's like the tour guide of the deck. It's an okay starter. You extend into it and it makes your rank 3s and link 2s. 3 Beetrooper Scale Bomber. It's like the Kagamucha out of the deck where you just try to chain block your insect summoning. And it also has a ghost ogre effect that comes up a little bit. 3 Beetrooper Stingray. It's the searchable like graveyard interruption of the deck. It's actually very good how easy it is to be searched, and when it's summoned it Stratos for a Beetrooper spell or trap, and the field spell is just a good follow up, and then the trap is just a once it's in rotation, it's in rotation. I then played the Battle Wasp package with 3 Sting the Poison. It's the best starter in the deck, and one of the good insect monsters special summon. When it's normal summon, it adds a Battle Wasp monster from your deck to your hand. It is a tuner, but I don't play anything that involves tuners in the extra deck. I played 2 Battle Wasp Twin Bow, the attacker. It's an extender, level 3 extender, win, which is good. That you can special summon it. It does lock you in an insects after a special summon, and I believe it can attack twice. And then 1 Battle Wasp pin the bullseye. It's also an insect extender. I kind of would rather play more of this than the attacker, but the attacker can special summon for free off of nothing. It's solid, but this one burns for 200 for each copy of his, which made me draw for my final round. And then 1 Battle Wasp Arbleft, the Rapide. It's your debris dragon of the deck. When you normal summon, you can special summon any level 3 or lower insect. It's pretty good, and when it gets destroyed by battle or card effect, it can special summon a Battle Wasp monster from your deck. And then for the generic insects, 3 Resonated Insects. You loop this all the time. You equip it from your deck with a card in the extra deck, and then when it's sent to the graveyard, you add a level 5 insect monster, such as your side deck cards, such as your main deck cards. It's broken, one of the best insects, and when it's banished, it Foolish Burial is an insect, which is just adds monsters to the grave for follow-up. 1 Goki Pole, another one of the good insects, just like Resonating Insects. Wish I could play like more of these, but they're just not the kind of extension you need. But this card, when it's sent to the graveyard, not just from the field to the graveyard, but anywhere from the graveyard, adds a level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if it is a vanilla monster, a vanilla insect monster, you could special summon it and destroy a monster on the field with attack greater or equal to that monster. It's kind of good. Thinking about playing one of the vanillas, maybe if I had more Goki Poles just for testing. And then the package that was solid throughout the day was the Kaiju package. Kaijus are blessed to have 2 insect and as part of the Kaiju package, Homunculus and the Wind one. They're pretty solid. They get over everything. As you can see, I didn't play any hand traps. These are the last of my monsters, so I didn't play any hand traps other than the searchable one, and then Imperm, which is solid. And that's it for monsters. 1 Battle Wasp, the formation, the field spell. It's a follow up. You usually search it on your opponent's turn when you interrupt their graveyard, and then you can special summon any Battle Wasp monster from your graveyard to your field, and then lose life equal to its attack. And then when an insect monster gets destroyed, you can special summon a level 3 token. Those usually don't survive. 3 Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. I was able to play this card. It worked very well when you had a Kaiju and Kaiju Slumber, because then you would Kaiju the threat and then nuke the board. And the insect Kaijus act as like insect monsters as extenders, and then Resonating Insect can loop the Kaijus. 3 Talents, because if they interrupt your play, you have to either draw cards for the extra extension, or rip a card out of their hand and hope they don't have anything, because you have follow-ups with the extra deck. 3 Pot of Desires. I played 3 of most of the cards. Nothing is super detrimental, but I guess it gets a little bricky when you banish 2 or 3 Kaijus, and now Slumbers are dead. But the Kaijus itself are a little bricky. 2 Droplet. It's Droplet going second. I could just try to break a whole board. Anything that, if they have 2, like for Drytron, they'll have Herald and Dragoon, so you'd Kaiju over the Dragoons and drop with the Herald, or vice versa. 1 Call by. That's the last spell. And for traps, Beetrooper Fly String. This is the counter trap of the deck. For as long as you control a Beetrooper monster, you can negate a monster effect, and then it resets itself once it's in rotation. And then 3 impermanence, which is the only hand trap. You can't get it. Plays around talents, turn 1, and overall it's just a good card. For the extra deck, played 1 All Mirage because it works with Resonating Insect and Goki Bowl, so you can All Mirage over Resonating Insect on those weaker hands. Switch the hand trap. 2 Beetrooper Armored Horn. This is one of the new Beetrooper cards. You're able to, when it's summoned, you have to activate the effect for the extra normal summon, which helps with extension. And then one of its better effects is you can banish 3 other insect monsters from your graveyard to special summon this card to the field. And it's good because it's easy. It's a link 2, so it just lets you link climb better. 3 of the Insectra Link monster. This card's insane. You can, when it's summoned, you can discard a card and then target another insect on the field, on your field, and equip it with an insect monster from your deck and it gains 500 attack. Of course, you can equip Resonating Insect and it'll get its effect from the field, like a Union Hanger or Union Carrier. As well as you could target 3 insect monsters in the grave, shuffle them into the deck, and draw cards. So it's good for recursion if you break off kaijus. Plus, it recovers off the discard effect. Overall, it's really good. 2 would have been fine, but I'm just testing. 1 Shinobi, very generic insect. It's when you do get nibbed and you can still extend it to, at the very least, another link 2 insect because this deck locks you into insects. And then because it takes 1, it just takes 2 monsters. And if a card is destroyed under its link arrow, you can special summon a level 4 or lower insect monster from your graveyard in defense. And then it cannot be targeted for an attack if something is pointed to it. See, 2 Papillon. This card's really good. It gains counters equal to the amount of insects used to make it. But it's a generic link 3. And then you can also remove a counter to special summon an insect monster, a level 4 lower insect monster from your grave. And then 2 Giant Beetrooper. This card's also really good to sit on with the counter trap. Can't be destroyed or targeted by card effects. And then you're locked in insects, and then you can tribute an insect monster from your field to either special summon a Beetrooper monster or make this card gain 2,000 attack. And when you activate the effect, even to gain the 2,000 attack, they can't really respond with like a punishment to it still because it still can't be targeted. They have to wait till it's over 3,000 attack for it to lose its can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. For the XYZ, played 1 number 3 Cicada King. This card's insane when it comes to like making a giant hand off of nothing on those weaker hands where you're still able to get Buggy out off of the off of the Giant Beetrooper. You could special and then make him. So you have a counter trap negate, potentially a monster negate, and then the towers on the field. 1 Giga Brilliant. I put it in the extra deck because it is an insect monster, and the detaching, making everything gain 300, assures that your kaiju, if you have the same one on both sides of the field, will be stronger than their kaiju, so you can get over it. And then it's Zeus material. 1 number 28 Titanic. This card is pretty good. It's a rank 7 insect monster, so if you're locked in insect monsters to potentially make Zeus, or if it's the only monster on the field, it has the effect that if it can attack directly but deals half damage, and when it deals damage by battle, you can detach material and then burn your opponent for 500 for each card in their hand. So it has a nice burn effect. If you're already in battle phase, then the time doesn't really matter. 1 Zeus. This card's generically good, but you only make it during those desperate hands. As for the side deck, it's very local dependent. 1 Pankratops, 3 Rivalry because everything's an insect, 1 Imperial Order, 3 Twin Twister, 3 Cycle Reader, and then the Spice, the Searchable Spice, 3 Retaliating Sea. Works very well in your deck because once it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Resonating Insect from your deck to your hand, or if you side this with Contacting Sea, wish I had more, then these are searchable insects that you can play in the deck. Good against Prank Kids. This is also good against Prank Kids, good against Drytron. So not really good against Phantom Knights, which is one of the worst matchups. And as for the local report, this was at Endangered Hobbies at the Natick Mall in Massachusetts. It was a 40-man local. It would have been 6 rounds, but at round 5, it was 3 undefeateds. The undefeated they got down paired lost, and then myself and the other undefeated, we actually drew, and it wasn't an intentional draw. It was a legitimate draw. Round 1, I played Dragon Link. Round 2, I played Dragoonity Dragon Link. Round 3, I played Phantom Knights. Round 4 was a Drytron matchup, and then round 5 was a Drytron matchup. For the Dragon Links, they lost to Kaiju. It was their Seal Savage board actually just almost loses to Kaiju because Savage is like the main interruption for like if you have desires, and then I even Kaiju'd over a Seal knowing that they were going to get their effect because I was able to Seal, interrupt the Kaiju, and then extend off of my own Kaijus, which would have been strong. For the Dragoonity Dragon Ruler, game 1, I Kaiju'd his interrupted Kaiju Slumber the field, and then OTK'd. But game 2, he just bricked, so I was able to continue the game, and it was a quick game 2. Game 3 was Phantom Knights. She opened the nuts game 1. She set up a board, and even though I was able to Kaiju interrupt their board because I wasn't able to OTK something with this deck, their follow-ups were just much better, and that Dark Rebellion was just a lot of attack, and they OTK'd me on the crackback. Game 2, I was able to set up a board with a Graveyard Interruption with the Sting Lancer, and then the Counter Trap, as well as I had an Impermanence, but the Counter Trap and the Sting Lancer were enough for interruption for me going first. And then game 3, their hand wasn't that strong. They ended up with a Dragoons and an Appaloosa, but I was able to Kaiju the Dragoon, interrupt to Kaiju the field, because that was the solution. Set up a board with Twin Twister the back row, and then set up a board that they couldn't recover from on top of bricking. And so I won that game. Round 4, it was against Drytron. It was game 1, I was able to win because I was able to go first. I set up, the Grave Interruption works against the deck with the Counter Trap, and I did have an Imperm this time around. They didn't main nib, and they didn't have a Herald play, so all my plays went through. Game 2, it was a 2-0. In game 2, all the going second cards were very, very strong. I was able to Kaiju the Herald, Interrupted Slumber, which is it's just the solution for everything. The rest of the field, and it was Forbidden Droplet for when they were coming back from the follow-up. I had the field spell Sting Lancer for a Graveyard Interruption Droplet, and I was able to Droplet using the field spell and the Papillon, special summoning the Resonating Insect, sending the Resonating and the field spell to negate a Drytron monster, and then the rank 1 XYZ they play, so that when they ritual summoned back, it was a weak ritual, and I won that game. And then the final round was a draw because it was like a 5-minute game 1. He was playing a different kind of Drytron build that had some spice into it, but it did. One of the spices was the Utopic Future XYZ. A misplay on his end where he took my Link 2, and while I couldn't extend, he was locked into insects, so I was able to triple tactics the XYZ, attack over the Kaiju that I put on over their Herald, and then make a Zeus, and I held that field for a while, but he was able to get over that by just getting rid of the XYZ and then Drytroning me out of the game. And then game 2, we hit time in my main phase 1, and then the Stingray, or the Bullseye, just burned for 200, and that's how we drew. And yeah, that was the local experience. I'm just trying to push the Beetrooper meta. This is my first video, so for more videos, can you please like and subscribe? Thank you.